Hello viewers, welcome to Ekamais Academy. Today, as part of the concept of the day, let us discuss Article 5 to 11, which forms part of second part in the Indian Constitution that exclusively deals with citizenship. So let us understand more about citizenship and all the articles related to citizenship and what are the modes of acquisition of citizenship in India and other provisions associated in this video. First, let us discuss the main thing. What is citizenship? So citizenship is nothing but granting some civil and political rights to the people of that particular land. So who are the natives? They will have some privilege in terms of some civil and political rights. So the persons who are not native or who are not the original inhabitants of that particular land will be considered as alien. So they may not enjoy all the civil and political rights that are guaranteed by that particular fundamental law of the land. So citizenship is very much important in determining the residency rights, civil rights and political rights also, right? So first let us understand. Indian Constitution provides single citizenship. That is very much important. There is no provision of dual citizenship. That means you cannot hold two country citizenship by being an Indian citizen at the same time, right? Then, so who is a citizen of India? Who was born as citizen in the country of India, or who was born to Indian parents but who was registered in Indian embassy as a citizen also can be a citizen of India, or by different modes which are like mentioned in the law made by Parliament accordingly will also be considered as a citizen of India. So these citizens generally will have all the civil and political rights. So let us understand what is the difference between citizens and non-citizens. So there is also non-citizens who are belonging to friendly countries of India. Those are considered as friendly alien with whom we share good relations. Then who are enemy aliens with whom India doesn't have very cordial relations. Those citizens will be considered as enemy aliens. So in terms of enjoying the fundamental rights also, there is a clear line of difference between citizens and aliens. So some fundamental rights are only exclusively available to citizens, whereas some fundamental rights are available to all the persons naturally. Let us understand those fundamental rights which are available only to citizens of India, or Article 15, which talks about no discrimination in terms of certain grounds like race, religion, sex, gender, place of birth, etc. Right? Then Article 16 talks about no discrimination in public employment or educational opportunities. Then Article 19 gives some set of freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of residence, freedom of movement, freedom of residence, freedom of profession, etc. These things are generally covered under Article 19. Article 29 and 30 grants some minority rights. So rights to minorities in terms of conserving their language, script, culture, or in administering their own educational institutions of their choice. So these all 5 fundamental rights are exclusively available only to citizens of India. These are not available to the foreigners or the aliens of the country. Now let us understand what are the duties or what are the things which are available apart from the fundamental rights only to the citizens of India. Fundamental duties. So we all know originally the Constitution did not mention any fundamental duty for its citizens, but 42nd Amendment in 1976 had brought this concept of fundamental duties in Part 4A of Indian Constitution in a single article, Article 51A, right? Then Indian Constitution also provides a provision for single citizenship. That means when you hold a country citizenship, you cannot become a member of Indian country or Indian citizen. Then what is this National Register of Citizens? This exercise was conducted in 1951 to know the details and to know the collection of citizens who are the native persons to the India. This was conducted even in the recent times in Assam to rule out all the foreign settlers who are illegal inhabitants to the country. Then next, what are the citizenship provisions? So we need to understand Part 2 of Indian Constitution from Article 5 to 11 talks about citizenship, right? So there is some mention about the Constitution, but you have to understand Constitution only have discussed or it has granted citizenship to those persons who are already part of Indian country at that point of time, at the time of 26 January 1950. We have to understand there is a difference in the dates also. 26 November 1949 is the date of adoption. On this day, the citizenship related provisions came into force and entire other constitutional provisions came into force on 26 January 1950. But the Constitution has mentioned those who are part of Indian land, they will be deemed to be citizens if they qualify certain things on the date of 26 January 1950. But you can ask, those persons who are born after 26 January, will they become Indian citizens naturally or not, is the question. Then this power was conferred by the Constitution of India to Parliament to decide whether what will be the mode of acquisition of citizenship and who can be the Indian citizens, right? So let us understand Article 5. Article 5 talks about the persons who are given citizenship by the constitution itself at the time of commencement of the constitution. Then article 6 talks about the persons who have migrated to Pakistan and like who are migrants to Pakistan and who have returned back to the country, right? So who are migrants from Pakistan, not returned to the country, who are migrants from Pakistan to India were covered under article 6. Then article 7 talks about the migrants from India to Pakistan, but later due to some reasons they might have changed their mind and they might have settled in India. Those persons who initially were part of India, later migrated to Pakistan, again have returned to India, will be covered under Article 7. Then Article 8 talks about the persons or citizens who are residing out of the country. Those rights are guaranteed under Article 8. Then Article 9 talks about the persons who have voluntarily given up the citizenship of the country will not have any citizenship in India. Voluntarily, if you resign or give away the citizenship, then you are not an Indian citizen. Then Article 10. Article 10 talks about continuance of the citizenship provisions. That means the original constitution has given some rights. Those rights will be continued until unless parliament make a different law. Then Article 11, it talks about the power conferred on the parliament to make any provisions related to citizenship. That means only after 26 January 1950, who will be citizens and how a citizenship in India can be acquired. All those things will be decided by whom? Parliament, according to the power conferred on parliament by Article 11 in the Indian Constitution. Now let us understand what are the modes of acquiring citizenship. And what is after the status of 26 January 1950, who can become citizen in India, right? So that power was given to Parliament, as we have seen. And Parliament has enacted Citizenship Act of 1955. And this was amended many times. But Citizenship Act of 1955 has mentioned 5 methods. So what are they? By birth, citizenship by birth, citizenship by registration, right? So citizenship by registration, citizenship by acquisition, then citizenship by naturalization, and citizenship by descent, right? So these are the 5 modes through which Parliament said any person can acquire Indian citizenship post the constitutional provisions. Let us understand by birth. So if any citizen is born in India, and whether irrespective of the parent citizenship, right? So he can be considered as Indian citizen if they can apply. Then registration. So for example, if the person is not born in India, but he belongs to or he was born to Indian parents and their parents want to register that particular child as an Indian citizen, they can do this by registering themselves as, and that particular child as an Indian citizen in the embassy located in that particular country. That is what registration. Then acquisition. Sorry, registration is what I have told the wrong one. Just please excuse me. Registration means here what happens is, for example, a foreigner has got married to Indian citizen, and if he or she is continuously living in India for some time, then because of that affinity that they develop with the country, and if they wanted to continue to stay in India, by registration they can acquire citizenship, right? Then acquisition means what? Foreign countries, for example, if any foreign territory was acquired by India, by default, all the persons who are part of that foreign territory also will become the members of that particular Indian citizen, right? Then in naturalization. So any foreigner who is naturally residing in India for a period of time, like initially it used to be 14 years, but because of the Citizenship Amendment Act passed in 2019, they have decreased the schooling off period of 14 years to 5 years only. That means those who are residing in India from 2019 31st December for 5 years of time till almost you can say 2014 to 2019, that 5 years of time can be granted citizenship by naturalization. So the person who got naturalization citizenship is Mother Teresa. You can consider her as an example. So in Indian situation, a citizen by birth and a citizen by naturalization can contest for the post of president, right? But in USA, only the person by birth can he can even contest for the post of president. Then what is descent? So any person, if they have their child born in another country, if that couple wants to get their child to get Indian citizenship, they can register in the Indian embassy and they can also acquire the citizenship of India for their child. That is what 5 methods of citizenship acquisition as mentioned in Citizenship Act of 1955. What are the modes of losing citizenship? So there are 3 methods: renunciation, termination, deprivation. So what is renunciation? So if you generally renunciate, that means because of some mistakes that we have done. So if you're arrested in one particular country for long, or if there is any like by fraud, if you have if you got any way of getting registered in the acquiring of the citizenship, if you have committed any fraud, in these situations citizenship can be terminated, right? And it can be even deprived by the country, and it can be renunciated also. That means voluntary also we can terminate and renunciate. So deprivation, renunciation, termination, these are the three methods through which in person can lose the citizenship in India. So if you voluntarily acquire citizenship of another country, your Indian citizenship by default will get terminated, right? So these are the points which you need to remember. Now let us see the practice question on this topic. With reference to India, consider the following statements. So 3 statements were given. Out of these, how many statements you feel correct, right? So let me know in the comment section. So today, as part of the concept of the day, we have discussed in short about citizenship related provisions 5 to 11 of Indian Constitution, and what are the modes of acquisition of citizenship and what are the modes of losing citizenship in India. We have discussed in this video. So if you found the video useful, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for joining. All the very best.